I just got the new MacBook and today I will walk you through my initial setup to customize your MacBook and instantly double your productivity. Let's get started! I'm going to start with Touch ID. I think this is one of the most useful features that Apple released in the last couple of years because it just lets you use your fingerprint for everything. I use it for my Apple ID, I use it for Apple purchases, and I use it to log into my computer. So I'm going to search for the Touch ID panel and add my fingerprint scans here. I think I've been using this feature for a long time and I'm glad they still have it on the MacBook. Next, we're going to clean up the dock. The dock is the little bar at the bottom of your screen, and ideally it should only include the apps that you use most frequently, but when you get a new MacBook, Apple decides to show you basically all the apps that they have and put them down in the dock, which is very inefficient. So I'm going to remove all of them to make it feel less cluttered. Also, by keeping the dock clean, you'll be able to access most of your important apps more easily and increase your productivity. As a next step, I'm going to change some of the trackpad settings. So I'm changing this to tap, which means that you only have to tap the trackpad with 2 fingers instead of clicking it to access the menu. Let's move on to the menu bar. The menu bar is at the very top of your screen and it displays various system settings, for example, the calendar, the network settings, etc. But I'm going to remove the date to only show the time, and I will also show the percentage of the battery at all times because I think that's very useful. I'm also going to remove Siri because I never use it, and I will add the Bluetooth icon so I can connect my AirPods more easily. As a next step, I'm doing something that makes me feel like my laptop is a bit more clean and organized, and that is changing the default location of a screenshot. Because by default, screenshots that are taken on a Mac are saved on a desktop, which can quickly become very cluttered and hard to organize. So I'm going to change this to a screenshot folder on a desktop. To take it even further, I will upgrade some of my shortcuts on a MacBook. For that, you simply have to search for keyboard shortcuts with the Spotlight tool. And first I want to make it easier to open the screenshot menu that we just saw. So I will set screenshot and recording options to Command K and also save picture of selected area as a file to Command J. Next up, under Mission Control, I want to customize the shortcut for showing my desktop, so I'm setting it to Command M. Lastly, I often get annoyed by random accessibility shortcuts because I don't know why they keep turning on for me. So I'm going to turn all of them off because I don't have any use for them. And now let's start with some software. As a very first thing, I'm going to install Chrome. Sorry Safari, but I just like Chrome much better and I've used it for many years, and it's also much easier to sync with all of my Gmail accounts, to be honest. To take this up a notch, I'm also going to add Chrome shortcuts. This is probably something that most of you don't use. I find them useful because with those shortcuts in place, I can not only add them to the dock of my MacBook, but I can also access them in the Spotlight much easier. For example, if I search for Canva, it just opens a Canva tab. Now what's left to do is installing a few helpful tools that make my life much easier and save me a lot of time. Let's start with Rectangle. I often work with multiple monitors and multiple applications running at the same time, which makes it essential for me to have good window management. So Rectangle is a good software for that because it's free and it allows me to quickly snap my windows to the edges of the screen, use my shortcuts, maximize them, etc. So I'm going to set specific shortcuts that I've been using for years. Then I'm also going to install a tool called Hand Mirror. As someone who is in meetings a lot, I always try to check my webcam settings before I enter a meeting, just to avoid awkwardness. And Hand Mirror is a very effective tool in quickly accessing your webcam. Next up is Mackie, which is a clipboard manager that helps you to organize and access your clipboard a little bit better. I often get annoyed when I work with creative projects because I have to copy and paste tons of things. With Mackie, you can even copy photos and paste them into documents, which is super helpful, I think. The next tool I'm going to show you is super simple. It basically just shows the calendar in a menu bar so you can easily create tasks or schedule events in your life. And in order to sync this tool with my Gmail, I just need to add my Gmail account to my calendar. Another productivity hack that I use is an app called Lungo, I don't know if I'm saying it right, which is extremely helpful when I'm editing or exporting files. Because sometimes those exports take a lot of time and Lungo prevents your computer from falling asleep and dimming. It really helps you to get tasks done. And I also used this a lot as an engineer when I was building apps. Alright, next up is a great tool for engineers and designers. It's called Roy, and it's a color picker for anything that is on your desktop. And this tool has been so useful for me in getting the right hex code for your color. In order to use it, you just need to add it to the menu bar, and then you pick the color that you want and it'll copy it to your clipboard automatically, which is incredible. Then I want to show you one thing, which is a super simple menu bar app that I personally use for daily goals or sometimes even daily affirmations to motivate myself better. You add whatever you don't want to forget up in the menu bar and it automatically resets every day. We're almost at the end of the list and Dropover is next, which is a tool to make dragging and dropping easier. In order to drag something with Dropover, you just shake the cursor and drop whatever you're dragging into the shelf. And then you can easily move it to the next destination and drop it. I found this tool very helpful whenever I had to move bigger files from one destination to the other or merge a lot of files together, and it made my life so much easier. Last but not least, we have Clean My Mac, which is an essential tool if you want to optimize your system and just keep it clutter-free. Because it cleans up files that you don't need, it tells you if you have duplicated files on your system, and also it removes a lot of old cache that you don't need anymore. So if you install this right away, you can really save some storage and improve the performance of your Mac. Alright, if you found those tools helpful, please let me know. In the description below, you can find all the information for the tools that I've mentioned today. And see you next time, and don't forget to subscribe.